Well, in celebration of the sesquicentennial, two artists are doing a cross-country trek to capture images of Canada. Alison Grapes and her friend Carol Loeb, who both, by the way, taught art in the Cape Breton Victoria Regional School Board at one point, are traveling the Trans-Canada creating art. They plan to exhibit their work coast to coast. They're calling the project Trans-Canada 150 times 2. Alison lives in Sydney for part of the year. Her husband's from here. But we reached her in Saskatoon, where she teaches art during the school year. Hello, Alison.
Hi, how are you?
Not bad. And yourself?
I'm pretty well. Pretty good, thanks.
So from what I understand, the gimmick is you and your friend Carol are going to drive the Trans-Canada. You stop under every 150 kilometers and take inspiration from whatever's there. No matter what, every 150 kilometers, you have to do a painting from it.
That's correct.
So you get out of the car and?
We get out of the car, we have our cameras, we look at the landscape around us, we look up at the sky, down the ground, maybe get really close up, try and find as many views as we can that is going to inspire a painting. Then we hop back in the car and we take off for our next location.
Well, what if you get out and all there are thistles and road signs?
Then you paint them. That's the beauty of the Trans-Canada. You don't know where you're going to, well, we do know where we're going to stop, but we don't know what it looks like yet.
And you've already done some paintings, right? You've already put this in motion?
Yep, we wanted to see if it would work. And so we, last summer, did some photography and brought it home to the studios and we painted. And yep, this is going to work, and we are both really excited. And
I've seen some of these paintings on the website, and it looks like like a mix of media.
Yes, Carol works in acrylic. Myself, I do acrylic and tempera and India ink. That's that process is fun for me.
And you know what's kind of neat looking at some of the paintings, how much the Trans-Canada is a character. Like many of the paintings include fence posts, guardrails, caution signs, yield signs, arrows, speed limits, pavements, road shoulders. I'm looking at one of yours right now. It's acrylic and mixed media. It's kind of like gray looking asphalt with the yellow line going up and over the hill. You see the backs of road signs on one side, and there's this sense of movement because on the right side of the road, you see a speed limit sign, 17 East, and an arrow saying, come on.
Right. I think that's northern Quebec you're looking at.
Northern Quebec. Have you been in Nova Scotia yet?
Yes. So because I live in Nova Scotia in the summertime, we shot somewhere around Mount Tom and then just before Port Hawkesbury, and that's the one with the thistles.
Oh,
so
okay.
There was nothing there but, like you said, the thistles and the trees and, trucks whipping past you. And so I walked down into the ditch and I stopped and I looked. And that's a lot of people, they're on the highway and they just go and they don't see.
Now,
there's so much beauty.
How are you going to avoid monotony of kilometer after kilometer of roadside, and how are you going to keep a fresh point of view?
That's the challenge, isn't it? I don't have an answer to that yet. I think it is changing our focus. So some are close up, some are far away, some include the highway, some don't. Hopefully there's a cow or two. So hopefully that works in our favor.
There are a couple of really lovely ones of which I assume are in the prairies. Like there's one that you did, and it certainly doesn't look like, in contrast to some of the ones I said where there are road signs and asphalt and guardrails and the sense of travel. This one could have been picked for its location. It's a CN rail car passing.
Oh, that's Quebec.
It's Quebec, is it?
Yeah.
Must be a dairy farm.
Yes.
Yeah, and there are box cars behind us, and it's almost like it's watercolor, and it's or I guess it's acrylic and tempera, is it?
Right.
And
that's acrylic and tempera. Yeah.
Kind of like a Alex Colville-ish feeling of movement in that painting as the train goes by the farm and silos and kind of leaves the farm behind.
Thank you.
Well, there's one that your friend Carol did. Which now this one must be in the prairies. It's just farmer field and just all blue sky and clouds.
The big blue skies of Saskatchewan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So What patterns do you see emerging?
I The patterns, the colors of the countryside, the beauty of Canada. I don't know. Just the wonderful views that if you stop and you look for a moment, you're going to see.
Have you learned anything about your country yet?
Have I learned anything about? It's vast, and it's very different from province to province. It's beautiful. The colors are gorgeous. I have, because I lived in Sydney, and my parents have a cottage in Ottawa. I travel to TransCanada a lot because I'm an artist. I see it, and then I drove my car out here. So we've got a terrific country that is very sparse. Not a lot of people, so it's beautiful.
Well, look, Alison, thanks for telling us about it, and have fun in your adventures this summer.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to it.
Alison Grapes is an artist who spends part of her year in Sydney. You can check out her project at transcan150 times 2. The times is the X sign, .weebly.com. That's transcan150 times 2. .weebly.com. I'll tweet that in just a second. There are plans to exhibit the work from the project coast to coast, including here in Cape Breton. There will be a showing at the Color Natura Gallery in Indian Brook at some undetermined future date.